The insanity in the housing market has officially ended, and that is great for investors who are still looking to maximize value and get the most out of recent interest rate deductions as well as 100% bonus depreciation. So now is a great time to focus on single family rentals and bundle them into a portfolio to maximize value. Bundling single family rentals into a portfolio asset is something that a lot of investors don't necessarily think about, but it can be a great way to maximize value. There has been a ton of interest recently in single family rental properties, both build to rent, which is new construction generally clustered together, as well as single family portfolio, which is defined as a group of single family homes clustered together in a certain population area and sold and leased as a portfolio. So there's definitely an opportunity to put together the benefits of what's happening in the market right now and put together portfolios that are going to maximize your value. So the first reason that this is beneficial to you as an investor is that if you put together a portfolio, a portfolio of properties and sell it as a group, you can generally get pricing that's 5 to 20% greater than if you just sold the property as an existing standalone single family home. And this is because of operational efficiency. So for example, the vacancy on single family rentals generally is much lower and the turnover rate much lower. Usually turnover is about 15% versus in the apartment industry, it's usually 40 to 50%. So your turnover ratio is much less and your general expenses are usually much less because it's much easier to pass on utility costs directly to the occupant of that single family residence versus the owner of the property sometimes having to absorb those. So if you think about costs increasing, if you have less costs to worry about, that's definitely a plus, and a lot of investors are starting to realize that efficiency. So you can get a premium for selling single families grouped together because they operate more efficiently than apartments in many cases. The second reason is that you have a built-in tax efficiency, because if you are a buyer and you're looking to do a 1031 exchange, most of the time you're not taking the time to look at single family rentals. If you have a $5 million exchange, you're looking for $5 million properties, and single family rentals are not part of that unless it is bundled together and sold as a portfolio asset, in which case it makes it a whole lot easier to consider it for your exchange. And then on the flip side, if you are the seller of the property, same thing. If you're just selling one at a time, you're probably not doing a 1031 exchange. But if you sell them all together, one $5 million exchange, then you have the built-in tax efficiency. I can go out and do an exchange as well. So there's that built-in tax efficiency. The third reason is because the financing on these types of properties can be more attractive than, in some cases, apartments or other assets. So if you are an investor, oftentimes, because these are received generally as they're more liquid than large-scale apartments, and they have multiple exit routes basically for lenders. So lenders are willing to offer better terms specifically for single family portfolios than they would for other types of assets. So if you have a single family portfolio, you can generally get 30-year amortizations. You can usually get an 80% LTV. You might be able to get a pretty aggressive interest rate, and generally terms that you're not going to see in traditional apartment loans or other investment assets. So the financing can be very favorable, and sometimes they'll even allow you a 1.0 debt service coverage ratio, which basically means you can break even, not even have any additional profit, and they'll say that's acceptable. You can finance like that. So very attractive financing terms. And then when you go to value it, you're oftentimes not worrying about appraisal cuts and issues with valuation like you would in a single family rental portfolio or single family rental if you just sold it and not in a portfolio, because with a portfolio, they're valuing it on the income and not on the sales comparison approach, which generally leads to a higher overall price. So those are 4 reasons why single-family portfolio sales can be attractive if you're both a buyer and a seller. So if you're looking for opportunity in the market, go out there and check out single-family rentals, because now's a great time for an investor to go out and do that. So I hope this video brought you some value. If so, please like, comment, and share, and reach out to us if you're looking to invest, both buy or sell, in single-family portfolios here in the Northeast.